The 10-minute drill.
This is a big one.
Covered by Universal Roof and Contracting. The difference is Universal.
On 1010XL.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Hit it.
Yes! Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Sports concepts and rationalizations coming your way. We call it the 10-minute drill. At the end of the drill, we hand out a little prize pack because we can. Beef, what are we handing out today?
We give because we care, Dan. So stay tuned at the end of the 10-minute drill. One lucky Guggen going to take home a floral arrangement delivered by our friends at Kuhn Flowers and $25 to dine at Gators Dockside.
Boy, it's really harder than you think to put that round ball into that basket 10 feet above the ground, and I'm not talking about the Gator basketball team, Hick. I'm talking about this stat that jumped out at me. Kobe Bryant's tragic passing in the NBA has taken all the spotlight from where it was shining, like, obnoxiously bright, which was on Zion Williamson. But believe it or not, Zion's played another couple of games in the last few days, and he had 14 and 9 last night. But this speaks to how hard it is to put the ball in the hoop. Mm-hmm. He's now the first-round pick in the history of the NBA to have at least 10 points and shoot at least 50% in his first 4 games.
Wow.
It seems like 100,000 players would have done that.
Yeah.
All I'm asking you to do, first-round pick, is give me 10 points and shoot 50% for 1 week.
I'm assuming it's the 50% part.
Oh, sure, but that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, it's just, first one to ever do in his first 4. A couple of guys did it in the ABA, but by the way, when Zion is on the floor, he's making a huge difference. He's still being limited. When he's on the floor, they're outscoring the opponent by 11.4 points, and when he's off, they're being outscored by 3.5. So they have a really easy schedule. We're going to see a lot more of Zion moving forward.
I'm watching one of the great plays in Super Bowl history. And that was the Steelers-Cardinals game.
So James Harrison?
Where James Harrison had the pick at the end of the half. And he had to score because we were out of time or they wouldn't have got the points. But it was, in essence, it's a 14-point play. Pittsburgh's up 10-7. This changed the game. I mean, Arizona wins this game if they go in. It's 10-7.
They're up or down? They're down?
Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And they're going, Arizona's going in. Warner throws the pick to Harrison. But what struck me about the play, first off, it is arguably the greatest play in Super Bowl history. I mean, the guy not only intercepted, this is a 260 or 70-pound man running and breaking tackles like it's nobody's business, knowing the only hope. I mean, what an athlete. Oh, my gosh. But what really struck me is the last guy to tackle him. The guy who tackled him got his hands on him at the 4-yard line as he was falling forward. And by the way, he just crossed that plane to that goal. But the last guy to do it was guess who?
Who chased him down?
Yeah.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, I remember that.
Why? Because he's a great player. And by the way, Larry Fitzgerald took a path down the sideline and he ran into a guy on the sideline. And if he hadn't run into the guy who wasn't in the game,
I saw that.
If he wasn't,
I just saw that play. It's funny you bring that play up. I just saw it a couple days ago watching some. I may have been watching that game. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like this time of year. I was watching. Tell you what I watched the other day. Hick, this weekend was on. I watched the 1994 49ers Chiefs game. Joe Montana had just gone to Kansas City.
Yeah.
Steve Young and the boys came in. Chiefs beat them that day.
Yeah.
Beat them that day in Kansas City. Deion Sanders doesn't suggest. He says he'll be head coaching a college football team next year. Do you believe him? Didn't suggest, said. On the Dan Patrick Show yesterday, quote, I'm going to be a head coach in college football next year.
Yeah, do I believe him is a great question. Because he said it so matter-of-factly, and he seems to have a plan, and the word was he was impressive, and he had more. It wasn't just with FSU.
He says that he had an interview for a coaching vacancy, but he won't name the school.
Right.
Why?
I don't know. I know he interviewed with FSU.
Like official interview with FSU?
I'm pretty sure he did an official interview with FSU, if I'm not mistaken. But at my point,
let me ask you this, Hick. I mean, look, entitlement is one thing, but the guy's never coached. You can't just name a guy. This isn't like semi-pro football. You're not coaching the Dallas Steelers.
Well, he has coached. He coaches high school.
Oh, come on, man. He wasn't even a head coach of a high school that he formed.
Well, I mean, Jerry Faust went from Moeller to Notre Dame.
Yeah, no, but he wasn't the head coach, Dion.
He's not the head coach in high school?
No.
He's a head coach. He's footing the bill. Listen, I'm just saying, I'm not saying.
He had a small, they say, Sanders' coaching experience is limited to a small role with the Prime Prep Academy from 12 to 15, a group of charter schools in Texas that closed in 15.
Yeah.
And has not coached since then, at least according to this article. So,
well, I'll look at it like this: if you're a
he should be able to recruit.
I'm just saying,
It's kind of like Penny getting Memphis.
Yeah, if you're, no, I don't want to. If you're UConn or if you're Tulane or Tulsa or at the bottom of your conference, and why not? If you're
Okay. Yeah, no,
NC
you're right.
State, I'm bringing Deion Sanders, man.
Okay.
If you're Kansas has less miles now, so what if you're Maryland they just got Loxley, but what I'm talking about, some of these programs. Why not? Take a shot. How can it hurt?
If you're one of those, yeah.
If you're one of those. I'm not saying he's going to FSU or whatever, and that'll be interesting. I hope he does. Why not? If you want to get into coaching, get into coaching. Are they going to give him the reins to a Power 5 program? That I don't know. Dusty Baker to Houston. Looks like it.
Dusty Baker. Does Major League Baseball have an official role, an official guy in place for if a team is forced to fire their manager? Because he was in the Mets.
Yeah.
It sounded like the Mets might get Dusty Baker at
Mets
first.
never talked to him, though.
But I'm just saying his name circulated.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Astros have talked to Dusty Baker. Is the report they've actually talked to him, or are people just suggesting that he would be the natural fit?
No, they're suggesting they're focusing in on Dusty Baker.
That would be smart.
He will be the manager.
Dusty Baker be a good guy to bring in that situation. It's going to be interesting to watch the Astros this year. How do they respond? I mean, they've gone from a team that everyone admired.
Yeah.
Right? They showed how to tank and then build through draft and trade, now to the team that everyone is going to hate, and they're going to be hated. I hate the Astros now. I was ambivalent toward the Astros. I rooted for the Astros I would root for the Dodgers against the Astros in the World Series this year. The Astros can't play right now, and it might soften, but right now, Dan, the Astros cannot play a team that I would root for them. The Mets. In all seriousness,
my issue with the Astros is I agreed yesterday with Clayton Kershaw, and I think that the fact that they've shown no remorse. So the owner came out and said some stuff, but Bregman and Altuve and the heart and soul of the club haven't come out and said, for all we know, Altuve did have you wouldn't be shocked if we found out Altuve had a buzzer in his jersey.
They're cheaters.
It sure as heck looked like
Once you cross that line, you're just swimming to a little deeper into the pool. So what?
Yeah, so what does it matter?
Yeah, they're absolute cheaters. I don't believe anything they say because they lied about this one the whole way.
But Dusty Baker or a Buck Showalter would provide credibility back to the program, I think.
Yeah.
Hard-edged, old school, not going to take it. Toothpick sales would go up in Houston if Dusty gets hired.
His little kid can run out in the middle of the game to the home plate.
Sure.
What about Dusty, who has not been able – he's been a very good manager, and he's had a lot of winning teams, but he's not won a World Series.
Yeah.
So imagine if he gets to go to Houston.
You're Dusty Baker. Why not? He's 70 years old, too, by the way.
I'm surprised he's not older.
Yeah.
Dusty Baker, when I was a kid listening to the Braves on the radio every night, Dusty Baker was their main player. I loved Dusty Baker.
Dusty Baker, I wonder if any manager has ever done this. He was at 4 different stops. Okay. You want to name those teams real quick?
And he's been successful everywhere he's gone.
Well, he's the Giants, the Nats.
Yeah.
Didn't he coach the Cubs yet?
For several years.
The Cubs.
He was the manager during the Bartman year.
Yes, he was. And the fourth, the Reds?
The Reds. And here's the amazing thing about Dusty Baker. And again, he was in San Francisco for 9 years, 10 years. Chicago for 4 years. Cincinnati for 6 years. Washington was short, 2 years. But he's over 500 at every stop.
No, my memory of Dusty is he's been a good manager.
Yeah.
He's took that Giants team to the World Series, took the Cubs to the. He just hasn't won the. He's kind of like Andy Reid. I mean, he's done everything but win a championship.
23-32 in the postseason. He's 11-13 with the Giants. He was 6-6 with the Cubs, 2-7 with the Reds, and 4-6 with the Nats.
That's telling you too. By the way, that ain't one series and done at any of those places.
Yeah,
multiple playoff series. I don't know if they came in the same season. I don't remember, year by year, but
he'll be 71 this year.
Yeah, which is fine. He could manage another 3 or 4 years. Now, all this Dusty Baker love is tamped down a little bit of my hatred for the Astros. It's going to be hard now because I want to root for Dusty Baker like I would Andy Reid to get a title because I think he's done everything but that. But again, the Astros right now are not good. One last thing, Hick. There's a perfect example out of the University of Florida why this year's receiving class has talked about it being so deep and why you'd be hesitant to take Henry Ruggs and with the 20th pick in the first round when you can get Van Jefferson in the third round. Mm-hmm. I'm just looked at a column of winners and losers, and man, they are raving about Van Jefferson as one of the better route runner along the likes of Jerry Jeudy, and one of the best that you see at this level of football. And suddenly needle pointing up on Van Jefferson. So there's a Gator interest there. If you're a Gator fan, there's a local interest, the son of Sean Jefferson from here in Jacksonville. And, we'll see where he lands now after what was termed a pretty good week. I've seen, a couple of these after the Senior Bowl grades, mm-hmm. and he has shown up like in the winners in the ascending column in both the ones that I read. Mm-hmm. So good for him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, let's do caller number 5 today. Caller number 5, Beef. Tell them what they're going to get at 641-1010.
Call number 5 right now is 641-1010. Going to take home lunch or dinner, your choice, with $25 to spend at Gators Dockside, and they'll get a floral arrangement delivered from Kuhn Flowers. Call number 5 right now is 641-1010.